Good morning, students. Myself, Professor Narayana Das. Today, I am going to discuss about the topic span of control, authority, and responsibilities. These are the two topics which is covered from the subject Principles of Management, which is related to the course BBM Management Stream. So, we'll see what is span of control. So, span of control, or I can say it is a span of management. A span of control, uh, which can also be synonymized, different names, span of control or span of supervisions. It refers to the number of subordinates in which a supervisor has. A manager or supervisor who has a group of subordinates who can directly report him is called span of control or span of management. It means the number of people managed efficiently by a single officer in an organization. It indicates the number of people directly managed effectively by a single person. It is accepted that the large number of subordinates cannot be supervised and their efforts coordinated effectively by a single executive. If the number of members is too large, it is very difficult to manage the people inside the organizations and the performance work effectively. A good organization depends upon the effective performance work done by the executive. So executive should be neither be overloaded nor be idle. So a span of management means number of people managed effectively by a single officer. This is what the meaning of a span of management. And now there are other names for span of control is span of supervision, span of authority, span of control, and span of management. So in any other name if you call also, the name meaning will be the one and the same. So what are the factors which affecting the span of management or span of control? So the number one, character of the supervision work. So the span of control either may be increased whenever the work is performed and standardized. So character of the supervision is a matters. So the reason is that supervisors has an opportunity to lay down permanent policies which will be followed inside the organizations. It may result the control of more number of subordinates. So the second characteristics will be the leadership qualities. The personal capabilities or abilities or capacities of a supervisors which influence the span of management. If the supervisor is strong, aggressive, he can control more number of subordinates and the span of management may be increased and vice versa. And the third one is quality of a subordinate. If a subordinate has enough talent to perform the work assigned to him, he can handle or the supervise or the supervisors can control more number of subordinates. And the time available to the supervisors. What is the time available to the supervisors? The most of the executives or the supervisors will spend lot of time on operating the things, operating the work environment and administrative duties like planning, organizing and activities. So supervisors may supervise the subordinates in the remaining available time. So the time factor is also one of the factors which influencing the span of management. And the nature of work. Some of the workers are repetitive and few of the nature of work will be non-repetitive. So repetitive in natures, the works which does not require an extra supervisor or extraordinary talent to perform. In such a case, as supervisors or the executives can control a large number of subordinates. And apart from which, we do, the nature of work, as I said, the level of supervisions. So whenever the subordinates perform the work manually, the span of control may be increased. It means the degree of span of control may be increased from the bottom level of the management and decreased to the top level management. And the method of communication. So what is method of communication, which is also one of the factors which determine the span. So communications may be divided into oral or writtens. Oral and written. Oral communication requires more time and energy than those who can do in a written form. So communications, either we can use orally or written communications. These are the factors which influences the span of controls. So we'll see what is the ideal standards. Ideal span of control will be, there is no industry as such, there is no standards as set to have particular number counts to the subordinates as a manager should have. Ideally, the management span, it should not be too less or too high, should not burden to the subordinates, executives, in order to ensure a better control of activities. So it should be medium level. The span of management should be ideal always. So we'll see what is authority. So authority. So authority is the power to make decisions and guide the actions of the others. So delegating of authority which ensuresly or necessarily contribute to the creation of organization, because no single person is in a position to discharge all the responsibilities and duties of the organizations. In order to finish the work in time, there is a need to delegate authority and to follow the principles of division of labor. So delegation, it permits a person to extend his influence beyond the limit of his own personal time, energy and knowledge. So delegation, according to Mr. Henry Fayol, who defines the authority. So authority is the right to give orders and to power to extract, or the power to extract obedience. So authority is the power to make decisions which guide the actions of the others. So what are the characteristics of, or the features of authority? So it is a basis of getting things done. So authority which gives a right to do in an organization, gives a right to do things in an organization in an effective manner and affect the behavior of other workers in the organization, which leads to the performance of certain activities for the accomplishment of the defined objectives. So the next features will be the legitimacy. What is legitimacy? Legitimacy, it means a legal right available to the supervisors. So authority, it is implied a legal right within the organization itself, so which is available to the supervisors. This type of right arises due to the tradition followed in the organizations. It could be customs or accepted standards of authenticity. The right of a manager is to affect the behavior of his subordinates, which is given to him on the basis of organizational hierarchy. So what is decision making? So decision making is a prerequisite of a authority. So the manager can command his subordinates to act or not to act. So this type of decision is taken by the manager regarding functioning of an office. So next point is implementation of decisions. So the implementation of decision means influences the personality factors of the managers who is empowered to use authority. So the subordinates or a group of subordinates should follow the instruction of the managers irrespective regarding the implementation of decisions. The personality factor of any manager or managers may differ from another manager also. This is what the characteristics of the authority. Now we'll see the sources of authority. The sources of authority, either it could be three manner. It could be formal authority theory, or the second one, the acceptance of authority theory, and then the competitive competence theory. The formal authority theory, it takes into consideration where the authority flows from top to bottom, through which the organization structure exists. The authority here flows from general manager to the functional heads, departmental managers, which in turn from the departmental manager to the subordinates, and like. So this is what the formal authority theory. The second one is acceptance authority theory. So this theory speaks about the authority flows from superior to the subordinates whenever there is an acceptance on the part of subordinates. So the subordinate should accept the authority, but there is no compulsion made by the superior. If the subordinates does not accept the command of their supervisor or superior, then the superior cannot be enforced, cannot be said to have any authority over them. So this is what the acceptance of authority exists. And the competence theory. So the competence theory speaks, it is this type of the authority exists in the persons by virtue of the office held by them. The personal power of this type of what is the type exists on the basis of leadership qualities of the person which is concerned. In an organization, only one person gets the higher position than the others in the course of time on the basis of leadership qualities possessed by them. Competence, because of by virtue of competence, so authority can be laid down or drawn, I can say. So now we'll move on to the responsibility. So responsibilities which arises from the superior and subordinate relationships. So the essence of the responsibility is the obligation to do. So if a person is entrusted with any work, he should be held responsible. So the person should be held responsible for the work that he completes. So responsibility is the obligation to do something. In other words, I can say it is the obligation to perform the task or the functions or assignments of the organizations. So we'll see what are the elements of responsibility. So elements of responsibility could be, it arises from superior subordinate relationships, which is resultant from contractual agreement between the parties, superior and subordinate. The responsibility cannot be transferred to anybody. So responsibility once is assigned to one person, it cannot be transferred without any approval of the higher order. It is created by the acceptance of theory or authority, I can say. There is an essence of obligation. The responsibilities may be a general or the specific, general or specific. So the responsibility is a continuous process in nature. It is never ending concept. So delegation of authority and responsibilities is very much necessary for an effective functioning in an organization. So the responsibilities without authority is an empty vessel. So the authority without the responsibility is very dangerous. Both authority and responsibilities are very much necessary to the organization as well as an individual. So with this I will conclude this today's lecture. So we have successfully covered the span of control or span of management, authority and responsibilities. Dear students, you can refer the books which is available in the market. T. Ramaswamy, Principles of Management, Himalaya Publishing House. And also R. Mugeshappa, Principles of Management from Himalaya Publishing House, so that you can enhance by referring these textbooks. That's all for now. Thank you for an opportunity, dear students. Bye.